and welcome back to the Crackheads podcast with me, Shannon.
And me, Kegs.
That was quite weird. We just done that back to front.
Yeah, I've got anxiety this week, so Shannon, you can kick it off.
That sounded really weird. Welcome back if you have been here and joined us before, and if you're new here, we'll do a little quick introduction.
So this is like a podcast for the gals and for the gays. And Brenny's up for a bit of crack.
Yeah, think of this as like your group chat with your kind of crazy big brother and big sister. Yeah, this is now episode
8. How nuts is that?
Oh my goodness, that is crazy.
It's been like 2 months, but I'm like, how the hell has it been so long?
Class, I love it.
I love it too. I love it every week. First, like, it feels like you're actually going into like work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And before we get things started, I just want to say a massive thank you to our sponsor this week. This week's sponsor, it is Belmianta. We love Belmianta here. I'm a Belmianta girl. I've been a brand ambassador for Belmianta pretty much from I started social media now, and I don't think that will ever change as long as they'll have me, because they are just the best tanning brand.
I've just recently signed up as a brand ambassador, so Belmianta actually invited me to their Dancing with the Stars event a couple of months ago, and then obviously I got close to Linda and I met all the staff, and then I recently just signed to it as a brand ambassador, and I've been wearing, I'm not wearing it today because I'm very pale right now, I'm getting a facial tomorrow, so I've not been allowed to put tan on, but I usually wear their new summer infused tanning mousse, which is like the medium one. I always go medium, and I always just leave it on for like 2 or 3 hours max.
You go for the natural look.
Yeah, because I just want it to look kind of natural. I don't want to be too dark, but like it just turns out so beautiful and amazing all over my body. I love it.
For anyone that doesn't know, by the way, Linda, as Kegs was saying, Linda's actually the owner and founder of Belmianta, which was founded in Tyrone in Ireland, and all the products are actually made in Ireland.
Yeah.
And I think the tanning brand kind of speaks for itself, because it is actually Boots Ireland's #1 selling Irish tanning brand.
Yeah.
And you can see why. I'm actually wearing it today. I'm just going to I've one of the products here.
You know what I love about it as well? Like their values, like it's vegan, it's cruelty free, like they proper put time and effort into making like the best product for our skins and our bodies.
Yeah, it's unreal. And as you can see by the packaging, it's absolutely beautiful. So like Kegs was saying, this is the new summer infused tanning mousse. This smells like a fruit cocktail. It does not smell like fake tan. I have the dark one on myself today. I put this on last night. I slept in it. I like a darker tan than you do.
Yeah.
Woke up this morning, showered it off, and you can see I'm glowing. I have no makeup on. I just love a fresh fake tan. So yeah, this is Belmianta, and if you are interested in purchasing Belmianta, like we said, it can be found in Boots Ireland, but you can also go to belmianta.com and
you can use our discount code CRACK20, CRAIC, all in capitals, 20, and you can get 20% off all of like the full price items all across the store. So they obviously have the tan, but they also have loads of makeup products. My mum loves that I'm a brand ambassador for Belmianta because I'm getting loads of makeup in the post. I'm like, I probably wouldn't really wear that sort of makeup, so mummy, you could take it. She's buzzing with it, to be fair. But yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much, Belmianta, for sponsoring this week's podcast. But
thank you so much. We love you.
Yeah, let's get into the actual podcast now.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So what has been the crack this week?
The crack this week is I have been in a hole.
Nice.
I think it's a combination of many things. I think it's a combination of that I drank twice since last week's episode. I love how I was editing the podcast. And like a few days after it was meant to be released. I apologise for the delay in last week's episode.
Yeah, it was late last week because Kegs went on a bender.
It was an unintentional bender. It was bank holiday weekend. I just so happened to end up going out. But I was editing the podcast and I was like, oh, I'm not drinking again, because I drank like the week or two before that, and I just don't know what happened. But I think it's a combination of that, plus I've been from starting the podcast, I think I've got so out of routine, as in like when I was at home I was like going to the gym every day, going for walks, getting shit done, but since I started this I'm back up and down to Belfast every week, and then I end up staying up for a couple of days, and then I'm just all over the place.
You kind of need to teach yourself a new routine, because I kind of know what you mean with that.
Yeah,
obviously me and my boyfriend and I, sorry, proper English, we are like mid-distance. I wouldn't say long distance, but we're maybe like it depends on traffic, 45 minutes to an hour away from each other.
Yeah.
So I go and spend 3 nights a week down in his house.
Yeah.
And it does take a while to adjust, because I kind of have to get it in my head, you know, I'll pre-record content and edit and stuff before I get down to his house, because once I'm down there, I lose all motivation. It's like boyfriend air.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever heard of this? Like boyfriend air? No.
What's that?
So it's like, it was like trend on TikTok for a while, people talking about boyfriend air. Like once you go to your boyfriend's house and breathe in boyfriend air, you lose all motivation to do like anything. You don't want to look after yourself. Like you're just a slob. You don't want to do anything. And it's so true. But yeah, so I kind of have to plan my content and my work and stuff around when I'm not going to be at Kieran's house.
Yeah.
So you need to get yourself in a routine.
I think I do, and I'm just trying to find a gaff in Belfast, to be honest, and I'm really struggling. So if anyone has a spare room in a modern, nice apartment in Belfast, let me know, because I think if I move up, then I'll get myself in a solid routine, just up and down all the time, and I need routine in my life is one thing that I've realised.
And you don't drive as well.
Yeah, I don't drive right now. I am going to get a car next month, and I'll be able to drive wherever the flip I want. So manifested it. So yeah, actually quite a few different things happened this week. So I wrote a list on my phone because my brain is not working properly this week, so I just want to remember everything. Like I said, with the routine and all that there, I think a lot of it is to do with, I mentioned it before in the podcast, I thought I had ADHD. Well, I went private. I paid a good bit of money to go private, to be fair, but I just wanted to get the diagnosis as soon as possible, so then I can obviously I've done a lot of learning about ADHD, and I'm not going to go deep into the podcast now about all the stuff that's happened throughout my life that made me think that I have ADHD. But I went private, I got the diagnosis, and it was confirmed that I do have ADHD. So now I'm debating whether to go on medication or not. Like, the doctor did recommend that I should, but I don't know if I want to, but I'm going to try. I might give it a go and see how it makes me feel. But we'll see. I'm going to do a bit more research on that side of things first. But I
think that kind of thing's so personal.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point someone maybe that's on ADHD medication saying, yeah, try it, it's so good, because everyone's brain's different. Even if, someone is, they're both diagnosed with ADHD, what works for one person might not work for another person. So it probably is a case of trial and error. But
what I have realised from actually learning about it myself and trial and error different things is that, like, when I am in a solid routine, when I am exercising every day, when I am doing the cold water dips, that keeps it all in check and everything is going smoothly. But at the moment, I have been drinking, I have been sleeping in, I have not been exercising, I have not been doing cold water dips, I've been smoking a freaking vape. Like, I've been doing things that I know are bad for my brain, and it just now
me judging you because I'm like, what, like how many weeks? 8 weeks?
Yeah.
8 weeks off the vape, so I'm like
so I think I'm in a bit of a funk, but I will get out of it. I know that I have the tools to get out of it, but the next couple of months are going to be hectic as well, so I'm like, I need to sort it out. But I'll be grand. What else happened this week? I have obviously went out twice. I went out to some like AVA Sean Keisha, Sean Choice thing. It was like an Irish storytelling thing. It was actually really cool, to be fair. That was
it in Irish?
It was in English. It was like Irish storytelling. It was actually really nice. It was nice to meet new people and things like that. It was wholesome vibes. Went out that night, but didn't really drink that much. Was having like lots of water, and then I ended up accidentally. I was obviously with Boost at the marathon, just making the video. And then I ended up meeting friends I've not seen in ages, and kept bumping into other friends, and I kept meeting friends I hadn't seen so long, because everyone went out that Sunday. I was like, what the hell? So that ended up being a bit of a mad one. And when you hear this, I got it was so funny. So I got kicked out of the National on Sunday. Like, kicked out.
Why?
So basically, I bumped into 2 girls that I went to uni with, and I hadn't seen them in so long, like literally years and years and years. And like, we used to be so close. So I was catching up with them, having the crack, and like, I needed to go to the toilet. So we were walking to the toilet in the National.
Were you drunk?
Yeah, I was drunk at this point, and walking to the toilets in the National, and the girls were like, oh, let's just all run into the disabled toilet, there's no queue, there's no one about, instead of going up the stairs to the toilets upstairs. And I'm obviously a gay man, so I go into the toilets with girls all the time. Like, it's no big deal. So we went in anyway, all taking a piss, like, that's all we were doing. We're not getting up to any badness, do you know what I mean? Next thing, bang, 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 bang. Security was like, get out, and there's loads of people about, and they were like, two girls, 1 boy, all these, get out now. So we were getting dragged out of the National, and whilst we're getting dragged out, I'm getting groups of people like, oh my god, Kegs, like, looking at me, because they obviously knew me from like the social media or whatever, and I was like mortified, like, so embarrassed. God. So then I posted a TikTok about it when I was drunk. I hate posting TikToks when I'm drunk. It gives me the fear I couldn't watch it the next day, just explaining what happened. And I got someone message me, and she was like, yeah, I was actually waiting outside. I don't know how true this is, but she messaged me, and she was like, I was waiting outside the toilets when it all happened. Apparently one of the staff told security that you had a bag of white powder on your in your hand on about me. I was like, excuse me, where the fuck did that person make that up? That is the biggest load of bullshit. What? Like, completely
was
made it
this
up.
Someone waiting in the queue to get into the toilet?
Apparently so.
They just needed to piss.
Yeah,
I can guarantee that's someone. No, if that's true,
but I don't, because then someone who works there messaged me and apologized, and she heard that a staff member apparently said this, and they said it's not true, blah blah blah. So I don't know, but I was like, what the hell? Why would someone make that up?
Bizarre.
So yeah, that was the crack, and then obviously ended up, and of course I ended up in the gay clubs that night. It was Ramo, to be fair, but we did hear this for a chat up line. So I'm obviously at a party, right? And I get a text.
Was this you said it to someone?
No, someone said it to me, and I was like, flipping hell, that's forward. Like, this person messages me, and I don't really fancy the person. I'm not going to give any details on the person, but they messaged me, and we're like, oh, hey, what are you at? And I seen this person out that night or whatever, and I was like, oh, I'm just at a party, what about you? And this person replies, well, there's a party in my mouth. You should come see UM. I was like, oh my God.
No, I think I would vomit.
What a chat. I thought it was flipping hilarious. And the funny thing was, I was at a party with his friends. So obviously, I'm like, oh my God, look what your friend has sent me. And I was like, absolutely
People
not.
are so ballsy. I don't know. Like, is that normal to be? I don't know. I'm like out of the like flirting game. But then I was never able to flirt. Like, I am just not flirty at all. Like,
Yeah.
never have been, never could be. And I don't know, is that normal? But then I do hear my friends or like other people talk about conversations, like dating things.
Yeah.
And they say stuff and I'm like, wow, ballsy. And then no one really reacts like that. And I'm like, maybe it's just normal to be ballsy. I don't know.
And I think it might be maybe in the gay world as well. But like, I don't know, I just never give this person any signs that I fancied them or nothing. Do you know what I mean? So I was just a bit like, whoa. Was not expecting that.
Gone ahead.
So yeah, that was pretty funny. And then what else happened that week? I don't know, I just kind of died. I've been in a bit of a funk, and I actually seen a funny TikTok today. I was going to bring it up, where loads of students in the Holy Lands carried their sofa to Botanic Gardens because of sunshine. It was like on the Holy Lands spotted TikTok, and I was like, oh my God, that brings me back. Like, I remember living in the Holy Lands and we used to bring the sofas out
into
the streets
front
with the
garden.
speakers and everything. But like, imagine carrying it the whole way to Botanic Gardens. Like, what jokers?
Do you know what the thing is now? Like, it's funny because, you know, I think at the Holy Lands a couple of years ago when we would have been there, and it was like shithole, but you were self-aware, you were in a shithole, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I done a litter pick when I was volunteering a few weeks ago in the Holy Lands, like up and down the streets that I used to be drinking in like 3 years ago, 3 years ago, and they haven't changed, like, as in they've just got worse. Like, no work has been done to them houses whatsoever, but the rent just keeps going up.
It's going.
It's scandalous.
It's mad that it's going up because they're absolute majority are shitholes. There's
nothing being done though.
There's a few tiny nice ones, but them houses have not been updated.
They literally get someone in to do like a slight clean on it, and they're like, okay, extra £300 a month.
Like, I'm on Spare Room right now trying to find a gaff, and I'm scrolling this like all Holy Lands houses, and I'm like, no harm students. But like,
I
no
seen
one's
your
gonna
TikTok
fucking
about this.
rent your fucking Holy Lands room for the summer. Like,
Yeah.
the only people going to live there are students, and students are not going to rent another student's house
Yeah.
over the summer. Do you know what I mean? Like, stupid.
It's pointless.
So it's just wasting my time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my crack for the week. What is the crack with you, Miss Shannon?
Very, very little. I've been laying low. I think last week, the next day, I had a little event in Dublin. It was lovely for a skincare brand. So I've been loving the products as well. It's called Hada Labo. Japanese skincare brand, Japan's #1 skincare brand. Random.
Nice.
But yeah, it was beautiful. Beautiful day. And then very chilled weekend as well. And this week I've lots of time with family. I really, really haven't done much exciting, but I like it that way, you know me.
Cute, yeah.
I'm a wee boring gal. I like a boring life.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much been it with me.
That's all.
Yeah.
Chill wee week.
Yeah.
Happy days. That's
Yeah,
nice.
that's what I want.
Happy days. Well, that is the crack this week. Should we move on to wait till you hear the crack?
Yeah.
It's my turn, isn't it?
Yeah, it's your turn.
So this week I'm going to tell the story of the time that I got arrested in Belfast.
Okay.
So this is
I'm intrigued.
This is one time that I got arrested. And
I don't think one time. How many times have you been arrested?
50. I'm actually a rebel. I'm joking.
How many times?
I've only been arrested twice.
Jeez Louise.
But it was all around the same time. Back in the day.
The crazy days.
Back in my absolute chaos days. Like, absolutely off the rails, bad mental health days.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you about one of the times, which is quite funny. And this is back when I was in uni, so I would have been, what, like 19 or something, and I was probably going out, like, majority of nights of the week. But, like, I wasn't even just going out, I was going out, like, hard. I was getting shit-faced every single night of the week. And I remember I was in, I think I usually used to go to, like, Filthies and, like, Foundry, and like I used to be like a raver. I was never really into like the Alibi sort of vibes.
Yeah.
But one night the girls I was friends with were going to Alibi, and I was like, right, perfect. So we got a bit dressed up. Like, I was wearing like friggin' fancy clothes.
That's why I would never go to Alibi, because I had to get dressed up, and I was so self-conscious. I wouldn't wear fancy clothes back in the day, so I just refused to go to fancy places.
Yeah.
So I was the same.
So I literally wore clothes that I probably would have worn to work when I worked in corporate life, and went to Alibi anyway. And my friends, I can't really remember what happened because I was so drunk. But one thing led to another. We ended up back at this after party in some like rented Airbnb. And it's me, my ex-boyfriends, my girls who I was with, and like loads of these guys that I've never seen before. And I was that drunk. It got to a point in the night where I was knackered. And for some reason, drunk Kegs got it into his head that he wants to go to sleep. But my boyfriend at the time wanted to stay. The girls wanted to stay. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just go to sleep somewhere in this house. So I didn't want to go and sleep in some random person's bed. So what I decided to do is I go into the bedroom and I go to sleep underneath the bed. So I am sound asleep, lying on the floor underneath some random bed in some Airbnb in the middle of Belfast. And I am passed out cold. Like, I don't know what's happening. I'm passed out. But whilst this is going on, apparently a few of the guys in the party are outside the front of the house smoking a bit of weed.
Okay.
So they get caught by the police smoking weed out the front. So then the police decide to come in and search everyone in the party. So the music stopped. Everyone's standing there. Everyone's getting searched. All is here. And whilst this is going on, I somehow move when I was under the bed. So I move and the police hear me move. So they think I'm hiding from them. So next thing, my ex-boyfriend has it on video. I have a video of it on my phone. Actually, I think it's actually on the first pinned video on my Instagram, because I made a video like showing I got arrested, but it was just clickbaity kind of thing. So next thing I know, I'm sleeping. I get dragged out from under the bed, being put in handcuffs, pinned down by all these policemen, and my ex is like screaming, like, he's literally sleeping, like, leave him alone, like, he's done nothing wrong.
Oh
like,
my god, chaos.
They were full on like lifted me up to take me into the police car, and then they searched me or whatever, and then when I'm literally like what's going on? I'm like so delirious, and then they obviously realized, and I was literally just sleeping, like passed out. So it wasn't really like a full on arrest, but I was like dragged and put into handcuffs. Like, it's a very funny video, funny story, to be fair.
To be fair, I've had similar to that.
Yeah,
I've had similar, same idea. Like, didn't get arrested, but like kind of like got accused of something. Will I tell it? Even though it's your week, but is that it's your story done? So I feel like we've time, don't we?
Yeah, go for it.
Similar kind of idea that like I didn't get arrested, but I really nearly did get arrested. Basically, myself and my friend, we had been on a night out in Belfast.
Yeah.
And we went back to a party in the Holy Lands, as you do.
Shock.
Okay, as you do. And there was people at this party, again, smoking weed. Now, like, I'm open, like, I flipping hate weed. I hate the smell of it. I tried it before in Amsterdam. I hate it. Like, I genuinely hate it. I've nothing against people if they want to do that, whatever. But it's not for me. I don't like it. And so I did not smoke it. Do you know what I mean? And whenever it was time to go home, I was like, I'm going to get us an Uber. But Uber was like relatively new in Belfast at the time. I only knew what it was because I'd been like flying back and forth to London and LA and stuff for work. So I got Uber and was able to get a taxi pretty quick. And we were wrecked. Like, me and my friend were absolutely exhausted. So we're in the back of this Uber, but obviously Ubers, you can't tell it's an Uber. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, like, it doesn't have a taxi sign. So we're sat in the back, and I was probably lying like this, and my friend was lying like this. And we were coming across the Ormeau embankment, and it's like, if you're in the left lane, you have to go left, and if you're in the right lane, you have to go right. And I kind of like opened my eyes in the back of this taxi, and I seen a police car pull up beside us. And I'm like eyeing the policeman up, but I'm like kind of half sleeping, whatever. And then my car turns left, the Uber turns left, and then we pull down a street on the route home, and sirens start going off behind us, and I'm like, that's that police car that was beside me to go right. So they followed us here. Sirens start going off. They get the Uber driver to put the window down, peeks his head in. This man was horrible and was like,
the policeman was?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like to the Uber driver, this car has been suspiciously driving about the Holy Lands all night, blah 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 blah. At this stage, I'm just not speaking, and the man's like, I'm an Uber driver. And he's like, you can see the policeman, they obviously thought something weird was going on.
Yeah.
Drug dealing, I don't know. And two girls in the back. I don't know what he was thinking, but he obviously didn't know it was an Uber. So then he showed the trip, and the guy then was like, and then you could see him kind of go, and he was like, actually, we pulled this car over because the smell of cannabis. And I'm like, okay, we were in a house, but there's no way it smells that bad that he smelt it from the car beside. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, right. Like, no, you didn't. At this stage then, I'm getting a bit defensive because I'm like, he's trying to blame us here, but I didn't say anything. But in my head, I'm like, ready to go with the policeman.
Yeah.
And then, so he turns his attention to me and my friend in the back, and he's like, right, used to out of the car. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what is going on? And he asked me direct, he's like, I can smell cannabis. Like, where's the cannabis in this car? And I was like, you can smell cannabis because I've just left a house party in the Holy Lands. If you look at my Uber trip, you will see that. And people were smoking weed at it. So there might be a slight smell, but I mean, you can't smell it that strongly that you pulled this car over because you could smell it in the car beside. Definitely not. So then because I start answering back, he starts getting so angry. So It's him, a female officer, and another male officer. The female officer is lovely. The other male officer is just not speaking. He's like this little quiet thing. And then there's this asshole that's like out to get me. My friend, that's what it was. My friend Louise, they kept her in the car and got me out of the car. So then the man that's being rude, he's like, make a note, my body camera's died, someone else. I went, Louise, his body camera's just died. Put your phone on, start recording this. Because I'm like, I'm not getting flipping caught up in this shit. And so then he starts screaming at me, screaming. He opens my bag and he's like, I can see cannabis residue in there. I was like, that's literally a brand new handbag and I don't smoke weed. Like, you are lying. Like, you are lying. The woman is being so nice. She's like searching me. And she's like, don't worry. Like, he's not actually found anything. She's like whispering in my ear to relax. But I'm like, he's accusing me of having drugs here. He starts screaming, we're going to get a sniffer dog out to this car. So tell me where you've hid the drugs. Tell me now. We have reason to believe that you've been dealing drugs in the Holy Lands. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you are lying. Like, you're lying right now. You do not have any reason to believe this. I don't know if you've got the wrong person. I don't know if you're just suspicious still because you've seen this car driving about, even though we've shown you we're in an Uber, or you just don't like me.
Yeah.
But like, bring the sniffer dogs. I don't give a shit. Like, you're not finding nothing. So anyway, this goes on and on and on, like back and forth. And he eventually has to let me go. The poor Uber driver is like horrified. He thinks it's his fault. He was like, I think they were being racist. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, I hope not. But he was like trying to apologise to us and we were like, you have nothing to be sorry for. Like, that's just a nasty policeman. Yeah,
that man seems like he wants like a power trip or something. What the hell?
So we get home and the next morning myself and my friend Louise tell her mum about it, and her mum's like, I'm not happy about this. Like, two young girls that have been raised to like respect the police kind of thing and their authority, and they're there to help you, and you've been treated this way. I'm not happy. So she like contacted the police ombudsman and everything. The police ombudsman came back to say that, because I had their badge number and we had the recordings and everything, they had never logged that in their notebooks. They're nothing. They'd not logged this had happened.
Oh my
God. And
I
think they're supposed to do that when they get back to the station. I don't know the ins and outs, but basically they hadn't logged it. The police ombudsman then did an investigation and were able to get the like recordings or whatever that was left and put mine together and like read us this big like apology thing, basically saying that it was taken far too far and you were basically pulled over for no reason. And the person, I don't know, they didn't tell us what happened to them, but they basically said there was like an investigation. Maybe he got a warning or something, I don't know. But yeah, I was horrified. I was horrified. But yeah, it kind of made me, because I was always raised, you know, the police are there to protect you and keep you safe. And then I was like, well, he wasn't. No. He wanted to accuse me of being a drug dealer. Like, me that actually hates weed with a passion. Yeah. And he was trying to say that I had it in my bag. I was like, there is actually more chance of £1 million being in that bag than there is weed.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, there you go.
What
There's mine.
He just sounds like a nasty person.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to go to therapy or something.
Yeah, so that's that.
That was a good crack.
Yeah. That was both of us.
I was getting like loads of stories in my head whilst you were talking about it, but different things. I was like, right, there's two.
Keep mental note.
I'll write it down in my notes for another story time, because we have many weeks ahead of us to tell many stories. So
yeah. And now with our next little segment. What is the crack with? So this is obviously our segment. We either have a guest on or we talk about a particular topic. And this week's topic, what are we doing?
It's gonna be, as much as neither of us like this word, but it's technically what people call our jobs. I say content creator. I say I'm a content creator if someone asks, but we're going to do like behind the scenes of like life as an influencer. Like,
so what's the crack with being an influencer?
What's the crack with being an influencer? Yeah.
Beating around the bush there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the way we're working it, you have got questions there that people have asked.
Yeah, so we've got loads of questions here that people have been interested. I think we decided to do this for this week was because we always get questions asking questions about our job, and a lot of people don't really know what it is, or like people have like misconceptions of it and things like that. So I actually, there was a creator in around here put up a story during the week, and the way they worded the story was like making out that influencers were, what was the word, shallow. Okay. And I got triggered by it. I was like, wait, no, that's completely wrong, because people that I follow is like people.
But then I don't even think that's fair to say, because there's shallow people in every line of work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you do a certain type of work, it doesn't mean you're shallow. 100%. Like, you can't put everyone in the same box. Obviously, there's going to be shallow people that do influencing. 100%. There's also going to be shallow people that are accountants. There's also going to be shallow people that are fucking doctors. Yeah. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So I was just like, no, the only people I follow is like people who inspire me, people who have a positive impact on my life or make me feel good, or stuff like that. So I was like, I don't believe in that. So I was like, let's get stuck into talking what life actually is like as an influencer.
Okay.
So we've got literally loads of questions. I feel like it might be too many for this one episode. We might have to do another
We'll see how
episode
we
on it,
go.
but
We'll see how we go.
First question. How did you get started in becoming an influencer?
Okay. Completely by accident for me. Like,
Mhm.
completely by accident. People probably know that watch me on TikTok. I went through a massive weight loss journey. I lost 6 stone. I have put 2 of them back on, but I did lose 6 stone at a stage.
Same girl.
Over 6 stone. But it was like my friends around me and my boyfriend. He was living in Australia at the time. It was only like just over a year and a half ago. And he was like, you need to make a TikTok about this. And I was like, TikTok was popping off at the time. I was like, oh my goodness, I'd be way too nervous. But I could maybe do like a before and after video that I'm not speaking in. So that's what I did. I did a before and after video. And I had people comment and being like, how did you do this? Like, oh my goodness, this is so good. It kind of done well. It didn't blow up by no means, but it did kind of well.
Yeah.
So then I just started making videos replying to what people were asking. So doing like what I eat in a day. That's how the whole what I eat in a day kind of started, that I still post sometimes now, talking about how to learn about a calorie deficit and what kind of foods I eat. And that's what my content started as.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working full time whenever I started social media, and I worked right up until I moved to Australia. And it was just like a gradual thing where then I started getting more followers, and then people then were asking about my makeup, and then I was like, oh my goodness, this started as weight loss, but let's do a bit of makeup. And then I had brands reaching out, and I was like, what is going on? I never ever thought or tried to do this, but it's what happened, and it's something I absolutely love and thank my lucky stars every day that I'm able to do. I think I done a vlog last week when we were filming the podcast, and I actually said it like, I can't believe this is my job, and I got like a comment saying, well, I don't think it'll last for more than a couple of years. And I'm like, and what? What's your point? What's your point? I will go back to my other job. Like, enjoy it while it lasts.
That's actually one of the questions.
Do you know what I mean?
So, like, I was the same. Like, I'm thinking like and I don't know what if it doesn't last forever, and obviously probably won't, but like, it's given us the freedom right now to sort of focus on doing this, and maybe it might lead to other paths or else or whatever,
or
but
we can just get it, we can just go and get a job.
That's what it is. Like, my jobs before this was working in hospitality and in the club industry around the world. Like, I could literally just go back and work in a bar if I wanted to. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm falling back on at the end of the day. So like, whatever.
We've kind of ticked off 2 questions there, but how did you get into it then?
So I got into it, I feel like I've always wanted to do something in like entertainment. Like, growing up, I would be singing around the house when X Factor's on, thinking, oh my god, I can sing and on X Factor. And then like, when I was like studying and stuff, my mum would be asking like, what do you want to do? Because I was quite smart in school, I was getting good grades and shit like that, and I was like, I'm going to go on Big Brother and become blah 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 blah. Like, I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, I feel like I am a Leo, so I feel like that
my sister's a Leo.
I was born to be sort of like, put myself out there in a sense. Like, it's just part of who I am. So then obviously I followed Sinead Haggerty. I spoke about her in the podcast before, loved her, and I started thinking, I wouldn't mind doing this. I remember being in As the Butchers for the first lockdown. So
you did have like a desire that you were kind of like, I think I want to try this.
I think I want to try this, I think because I travelled a bit as well, I seen the freedom that it gave people, and freedom's one of my main values. I've literally got it tattooed on my hand. So I was working on As the Butchers, started like, obviously was working behind the meat counter, and started like listening to podcasts with people and stuff. And then I remember leaving the day I left the Butchers. I said to my colleague, because I was going to be for the summer, I was like, I feel like I'm going to start doing social media. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I feel like that's what I want to do. And I'm still afraid to do it because of like judgment and things like that. So I went to Ibiza for the summer, and when I was in Ibiza, I became friends with, because in Ibiza that summer, it was during COVID, so the only people there were workers or else like influencers, because they could like have the freedom and the money to sort of be there. And I became friends with quite a few like well-known YouTubers, and I ended up like getting quite close to one of them one night, and he was like telling me about all the different things he's doing with his work and like money and stuff like that, and I was like, oh my god, like, I need to freaking do this. So I ended up going home, didn't put it off for ages and ages, and then one night I was just like, fuck it, and I made one TikTok, and it was like, you know that there TikTok, it was like, Bella Porch, and it was like the cringiest and it was something stupid like that. I made that, and then I just started posting, and then it sort of took off a wee bit, and then I had my first account deleted.
Oh, no way.
I had my first account deleted, and then I sort of had a break from it, and then I was just like, you know what, friggin', I'm just gonna start again. So it would have been like 3.5 years ago now. I've been doing it, and then it's sort of progressed from there, I suppose. But I love it, like I do. I love it. So that was the first question, how I get started. Someone says, how do influencers get paid? So I might start off with that one. For me, I think everyone's different. Every influencer is completely different ways of getting paid. For me, the method that I get paid is through. There's different things. There's a few different things. Like TikTok doesn't really pay that well. It does a wee bit, but not really now. But you might be different. You might be different.
Yeah, it's different streams, I suppose. But like, I would sometimes say, well, TikTok doesn't pay that well. But then, whenever I've always worked minimum wage jobs, and I kind of look and I'm like, it's not like TikTok doesn't pay me more than what like a full-time minimum wage. Just TikTok
Is this
alone.
just from views?
Just from views.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be far off what after tax what I was getting for like that alone. Like, not to like, I'm so grateful for it, but sometimes like it doesn't pay a lot. But then I'm like, it pays around what I was getting in my minimum wage job.
Fair.
So
yeah. That's I do that as well. Sometimes I compare it to what I was getting, say when I worked for like Deloitte.
So then I'm like, I'm so grateful. Like as long as the way I look at it, I'm able to do social media as long as I'm making as much money as I was working my minimum wage job.
Yeah, fair.
Do you know what I mean? So as long as I'm making that, then like I think I've said this before, I don't have like a desire that, you know, that everyone, like lots of people inspire to be rich and well off, and but I don't. And sometimes I'm like, am I weird? Because I don't have a desire to have like a big house and be rich.
I don't have that either. I just have the desire to be freedom, as in like, I just want to work for myself for the rest of my life.
I just want to be content. So I'm just like, as long as I'm making enough money to keep myself alive and keep myself going, and, you know, be able to be like financially stable, then I'm fine. So I suppose, but sorry.
Mine was just fine. I think mine is just freedom. Like, I feel like I always just want freedom, because I've obviously traveled, and then I can just go on like holiday when I want and things like that. Like, I'm not tied to like someone telling me I can't go do this when I want to do this. Do you know what I mean?
We went off the topic there though.
We did.
It was different. So there's different streams.
There's many different streams. So you could get paid to maybe go to an event, or you could get paid to do a collaboration with a brand. So a brand may pay you to promote their products on like Instagram or TikTok, or the podcast, for example, like a podcast sponsor. You could also do and then also the direct payment from TikTok for views, which if you're a YouTuber, you'll get a direct payment from YouTube. I think Instagram is probably it doesn't pay directly. There's UGC work as well, so I sometimes do UGC work. I do it all the time. It's user generated content, so you would make content for the brands. It doesn't have to be
you
posted
don't
on your own
post
socials.
it,
and that does pay less, but it's still a bit of extra income. Do you know what I mean?
And then TikTok Shop, you don't use TikTok Shop.
I can't get on TikTok Shop. I've messaged them so many times. It does not work for me. It's so annoying.
TikTok Shop's like commission based.
Yeah.
And like, I don't use it as a way to make money, if I'm being honest. It's like, that's how I buy stuff in TikTok Shop, and then if people ask, or they're going to ask me where it's from, so I link it.
Yeah.
And then if people buy it, you get like a tiny bit of commission. But sometimes if a video blows up, then that can actually get you like quite a bit of money. But I never rely on that as like a source of income, if that makes sense.
I see people using that as their full-time job.
There is people that do.
And they make bank like crazy. What other ways? People use Snapchat to make money. I don't use that personally. No. I don't use Snapchat, but like I see people like celebrities would use it, and they make loads of money on that. And there's affiliates as well. So a brand, you might work with a brand, but they might not pay you like a set fee, but they would pay you in commission, for example.
How many times your code use and stuff? I don't really use anything like that.
So mine would be the hair transplant. I get good commission off that.
I know a lot of people do use affiliate links and stuff. I don't. I probably should, but
I think it's not really as big as a thing as what it was in the past.
Yeah. I don't even know how to do it. You know, like there's like websites and stuff. I know that I've asked people before and they've told me, but I've never actually physically done it myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's loads, basically, long story short, there's loads of different streams. I think personally the main one for me would be brand deals, which is it's a bit unreliable, because like you could have a month that's really good and then you could have a month that's really bad, and
it's so unpredictable.
But that's just the way it is.
And then obviously there's delays and all that there sort of stuff too. Like there's so much to it. I don't know how to explain it without going over too much the information.
Yeah.
But should we move on to the next
Chasing invoices.
Oh my god, no, literally, like I remember there was one time it took 6 months for me to get paid for one thing.
No, I would lose the will.
It's actually not wise. Like, imagine I didn't have other sources of income and I was waiting for that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
no, it's crazy.
So, how did you grow your followers? Are they all real, or did you go viral? I'm gonna say this before I get started. Our followers are real, and it's so obvious when you don't have real followers, and no brands will work if you don't have real followers.
But does that mean, did you go viral and then you got loads of followers and then they're not active anymore?
How did you grow your followers?
Does it not say something about viral?
Or did you go viral? Like, did you go viral to make your followers?
Okay. I get you. Is it one of the... Well, I don't think it has to be one or the other.
I think I wouldn't say... Is all your followers real? As in, like, did you buy your followers?
or did you go viral? But that's what I'm saying. I don't think either. Like, I don't think I went viral.
No.
I gradually grew my following.
Yeah.
Just gradually from videos. Like, I had some videos that done really well, and a lot of my videos don't do well, but I just gradually grew that following. I wouldn't even know how to go about buying followers. I know you get like DMs and stuff being like,
Just ignore
you
them.
can buy followers here, but I'm like, that's a scam. Like, why would you even do that?
It'll
do you know what I mean?
completely frig you up or engagement wise. Like,
Yeah.
it's so clear to me when people buy their followers. I'm like, why have you done that?
I think that was more maybe a thing. I remember back in the day when my sister done social media, and she had like a lot of followers on Instagram. Back then, there was loads of people buying Instagram followers. I know that was the thing then, but I don't think people do that.
Oh,
do
I
they?
see people doing it sometimes.
Do the people still do it?
There's people, I don't know why they do it. Maybe for their ego, to make them people think that they're having loads of followers. I don't know what it is, but I always know, because if you go on someone's Instagram and they have loads of followers and they have like, you go on their reels, and if they get like low views on their reels, that's how I always match up if they bought their Instagram followers.
Yeah.
But yeah, just don't do it, because you'll not make it a career out of it if you buy your followers. You know what I mean? Because it's so cleared up in brands and everything when you do it. For me, I did grow steadily throughout the years, but I did go viral for my hair journey.
Your transplant,
Like,
yeah.
that definitely did go viral worldwide. Like, I was on E News in America. I remember
No
that. Like,
way!
there was a news presenter. Like, there was a panel of people and they're all talking about it. And I was like, why am I on
No
E News? Like, what the
way!
fuck? So it did go viral that way. Like, it got millions and millions of views worldwide. So I definitely did get a bit of followers from that on TikTok. But it's better not going viral, because then followers who follow me for my hair thing aren't interested in anything else I post now. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't really
That's
want to post hair
true.
stuff anymore. So
Yeah.
it's better to be consistent, like Durfa Kelly even mentioned in the podcast before. Be consistent and just grow steadily, because you'll build your audience and community, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah. Do you think you're famous, Shannon?
No.
Absolutely fucking not.
Definitely not.
Like, famous to me is like fucking Justin Bieber. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But then, like, there's, to be fair, there is people that I follow that have like the same amount of followers as me, and then I'd see them at an event and be like, oh my God. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then I kind of go, that's like, I have the same amount of followers as them. It does not make me feel famous still.
No.
But then I'm like, I like would fangirl over people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do as well.
But I definitely don't think I'm famous. Sometimes I still like forget that I have TikTok, and I don't mean that obviously I remember it's there, but like today, for example, I was walking from the post office in our shopping centre, and like this lady behind me, she was complimenting my hair. She was like, oh my goodness, your hair's so nice, because I've got it in a wee bow, and it was all behind me, and I was like, oh, thank you so much. And I turned around, she was like, oh my goodness, you're Shannon from TikTok. And it took me a second to be like, oh shit, like, yeah, she might actually know my, because I was like, how's this girl know my name?
Yeah.
But like, it's sometimes you forget that people know you. But it's definitely not fame.
Definitely not fame.
It's not
at
fame.
all. You're literally, we've got a few followers on social media around our like probably local areas. You know what I mean? Like, it's the 100% not fame. But I do see that some people do think they're famous. They could get followers gets to their head as well. Like, there's been situations where I've met someone who I knew beforehand, didn't have followers beforehand. Like, I'll give one example. There was a girl I met, I was friendly with her, and like, I'm not gonna give the country because she'll whatever. But I met her there, so nice, partying away, blah blah blah. Maybe a year later, I met her in Ibiza, and she had then since gained like hundreds of thousands of followers, got verified, blah blah blah. And I was with her and the girls she was with for the other place I met her before, and I was like, oh my God, hey girls, what's the crack? The other girls were like, oh my God, Kegs, blah blah, haven't seen you just. She was like, hi. As if it was like, oh my God, I like own the fucking place. I was like, who do you think you are? Like, that's only one of that. That's one of like the
many.
There's not one of many, as in like that's a very rare occurrence. There's not many people that's like that I've met.
Yeah.
But some people, it definitely does go to some people's head for sure.
Yeah.
I
just don't ever see the point, because with social media, being known on social media actually means fuck all, because your account could be deleted the next day.
Literally gone.
And you have to be self-aware of that. People that aren't, that's the people that like think they're like high and mighty, and it's like, hon, if your account got took away from you, you're no one, you're nothing, you're not famous, your social media is no one.
Yeah.
Two different things.
Two
Do you
completely
know what I
different
mean?
things for sure. We're just two dicks from Northern Ireland. Do you know what I mean?
Speak for yourself. I'm joking.
Someone said, what is the most that you've got paid?
What, from like a brand deal?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say
Nah.
I wouldn't even speak about it, because do you know what it is? That question, I feel like you wouldn't walk into someone and ask them what their salary is. You just wouldn't.
You definitely wouldn't.
You wouldn't do it.
People ask me sometimes, what do you get paid? And I'm like, it's not
Yeah,
really your business.
I just don't think it's good taste to even speak about money in general. Do you know what I mean? As in, I hate, like, as I said, I was always in a minimum wage job, and I, even like growing up, I was from a council estate family and went to like posh schools, and I'd have like friends talk about how much their family makes and blah blah blah, and I just always thought it's such ill taste to do that.
I was the same. I didn't grow up with money at all.
So then I just have it in my head, if someone asks me like how much do you get paid for that and stuff, I'm like, that's not your business.
Yeah.
And it's not in a way that I don't want people to know and I'm being secretive about it, or, you know, I think I wouldn't tell you if you came up to me when I was working as an estate agent and someone went, how much do you get paid for this? I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah, fair.
Do you know what I mean? So
100%.
why would I tell you what I make now?
I don't like speaking about it to other people that much, but I do like speaking to other creators, because then you're like, oh, actually, I could probably push myself a bit harder to make a bit more money and things like that. Like, I do like speaking to it with like friends, for example.
Yeah.
And I also do like watching people when they do open up about it on social media, because it'd be like, oh, that's interesting, but then also people lie, like people chat shit.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was watching this guy from down south, and he didn't have that many followers, and he was like, yeah, like if you've got like there should be like, you should be getting paid like £1,000 for every 500 followers you have or something like that. I'm like, that is the biggest load of shit.
Yeah, people are dramatic.
Like, it's literally nothing to do with how many followers you have anyway, for
it's your
starters.
engagement.
It's all about engagement and audience and everything. Someone said average salary, sort of touches on what we just said.
Yeah,
like,
I just wouldn't speak about it.
It depends on the influencer as well. Like some influencers could have like 1 million followers and be getting like way less money than like someone who has like 100,000 followers.
Yeah, I think it's so funny. There's this saying going about like Alex Earl makes $75,000 a week, and I'm like, who told you that?
Yeah.
So many people say this, like Alex Earl, it's that exact number too. That's how much she gets paid for a brand deal, so that's how much she earns a week. I'm like, where are you getting this information? Because I know I haven't heard Alex Earl sit in a podcast and say I earn $75,000 a week. So I'm like, someone just pulled this. Because do you ever see the videos that try to work out how much a creator gets from their views?
Yeah.
They are so inaccurate. Like I watch them and I'm like, no, like you're so wrong. So they say, for, you know, because the way the creator fund works is if you get X amount of views, you get this much per 1,000 views, but everyone's is different. Some people's is 80p per 1,000 views and some people's is 2p per 1,000 views.
Yeah.
Not only that, it doesn't count every view you get. If anything, it probably counts about a quarter of the views you get. They have to be like certain requirements, so they're working this out on the full views and as if they're getting paid £1 per 1,000 views. And then I'm like, yeah, divide that by like 8 and you might be right. Like, they're so inaccurate.
It's gonna be not even that, but like each year is gonna be completely different as well. Like you can't compare even months. Like I'm gonna compare my say March to my April. Like March I made barely anything, and then April I made probably like 4 or 5 times what I made in March, because it just changes all the flipping time.
It switches up.
Like it's never consistent, so you can't really give like an average, I don't think. And it really just depends on the person too. Do you know what I mean? So, did you suffer from small town syndrome whenever you started blowing up on social media?
I don't think so. Well, I don't know. I'm probably just ignorant to the fact of maybe people were talking about me.
Yeah.
Like, maybe people were, but I just didn't give a shit.
I think I definitely did stop myself from doing it for ages because I wanted to do it, but I was definitely afraid of the judgment at home. And it was always the people that I went to school with that I knew would be chatting shit about me that I always thought of that put me off doing it. And then I think I was lucky that I started it when I was traveling, so I was never at home to even be around people to judge me. So I definitely probably did get loads of judgment, and I definitely did have a lot of work to do on myself to get over that. And don't get me wrong, I still feel the fear of judgment sometimes, but like definitely not as much. Like I've done work on myself to like be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think I was ignorant. People probably were talking about me being like, do you see she's posting TikToks? But I just didn't know or didn't pay attention. I think it also helps. I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm 28 now, so what was it? I was 26 probably when I started social media. I have a really strong opinion that I don't think you should be like posting on social media as a job until you're at least 18. I have a really strong opinion on this. So I think because I was like 26 and like I kind of knew who I was at this stage a bit more, and it's easier to like cope with what comes with doing social media then.
Yeah. And
I see these girls at like 15, 16 and I'm like, what are you doing? From personal experience, my little sister accidentally started doing social media when she was like 13. This is before anyone knew anything about it. Like this is way back. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I seen the effects that had on her as a young girl doing social media, and I just think there should be some sort of law put in that if you're, I don't know, I just don't think you should be allowed to do it.
I am so happy that I was not doing it at a young age.
Yeah.
It would not have been good.
Yeah, definitely. I have such a strong opinion on it. I just don't think you should be allowed to do it. I mean, I can't really speak. I literally managed my sister who did it, but as I say, that was a time that we didn't really know what it was and what was going on, and everything happened so fast and we were just going with the flow. But looking back, if I could give advice to any parents even out there, like, keep your kids away from social media. Let them make the decision when they're a fully grown adult.
Yeah, fair. Because you're definitely putting a lot out there, like, and if I would have made some bad mistakes if I started doing it so young. Even to be fair, like, I started at 23, and like I look back at the videos and I'm like, oh my god, who is that person? And I was very like insecure, and I definitely suffered with like different things that came with doing social media, like the judgment and stuff like that. But it definitely made me go out there and try and find out who I am. So now I'm a lot more assured of who I am. So now I'm like, if Pete comes to me, I'm like, you know what, actually I know who I am right now.
You
so
can
like,
deal with it.
I can deal with it so much better. But I definitely didn't deal with it as well back then. But I do now. It's all good. So yeah, someone's just basically said, how do you deal with hate? So we've sort of just touched on that.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with hate? Do you want to give a wee thing?
I feel like if I was getting like really, really bad hate, it would be a different story. Like, I would probably have to teach myself, but I've been very, very lucky. Yes, I get probably like one shitty comment or whatever here or there, but so it's not on like a massive scale. I do really feel for people that have like proper hate campaigns and stuff against them. Then I feel like I'd have to like reteach myself, is that a word? Reteach myself how to handle it. At the minute, I would get, as I say, I get the odd comment here or there, but I feel like I've been through so much in my life. Like, I was overweight my entire life. I was treated like shit. I was spoken to like shit. I can handle someone telling me I look ugly here or there. Do you know what I mean? I can handle someone telling me I'm annoying. I can handle... Do you know what I mean? Try harder, if anything.
Yeah, fair.
Is that all you've got? That's kind of my attitude, you know? And then just like, who cares?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Who cares what someone else has to say?
I think for me, I would be quite sensitive. I think I definitely went through a bit of a hard time in school with like different things, and then I think I became like quite sensitive. So I think when I did get hit and I was sent into all the group chats and I was told that everyone was chatting shit about me and things like that, it definitely did affect me. But it then made me get like therapy, and it made me things like that. So definitely made me do a lot of work on myself to get over that. Now when I get hit, I don't go looking for it, because obviously there's those really bad sites and things that chat shit about you.
To be fair, I actually like me and Anna Olivia, when we were like in Ibiza and stuff back then, we used to go onto them and literally piss ourselves laughing. Right, and I have since that's probably the last time I was on it, because then I realised that what they would say about me and stuff, as I said, like, we would literally piss ourselves laughing. But then I would see them talk about other people, like people I knew or people I was friends with, and I was finding myself getting really annoyed for other people, not for me. And I'd be like getting like furious. Like, I'd be like, I want to go and fight these people for the sake of whoever they were talking about. And I was like, I need to stop this. Like, I'm literally getting worked up about what someone's saying about someone else, not even me. I didn't care. I found it funny about what they were saying about me, but then I was getting annoyed at other people. I was like, you need to stop going on. And I haven't went on in like, what's that, over a year?
I don't go on them because it definitely does have a negative effect on me when I do go on, so I just stay away. But in terms of hate I get now, it doesn't really affect me that much unless it's like threatening. Like, I've had a few threatening hate comments from a bit like, oh, don't really like that. But right now, if I'm looking, I'm like, if someone's commenting hate, how unhappy must be themselves. Like, yes, if you see someone who you don't like what they say or don't like what they do or don't like thing, you just think it yourself, like, whatever, let it go. But if you're happy within yourself, you're not going to sit online and start commenting negative shit to other people. Do you know what I mean?
That's so true.
Fucking hell.
That's the vape.
So, the so the people who are commenting, I'm just like, you know what, I actually feel sorry for you. And sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm going to send that person love because they clearly flipping need it. Yeah. Sometimes if I'm in a bad mood or if I'm hungover, I'll fucking retaliate. Like, fucking someone commented the other day.
Sometimes
like,
I do too.
Someone commented the other day, and it was the day after I was hungover, and he commented and was like, oh, you've really let yourself go, haven't you? And I just goes, kindly shut the fuck up.
I got one earlier, and it was like, I don't know, like a silly thing. It was like, you should maybe shower or something, but it's like this account that's commenting on a few of my things. Yeah. I should just block it, but I'm like, also, I don't even want to give them the satisfaction. And I just tried to like, why are you so obsessed with me? Like, you are obsessed. Like, this video was posted 3 minutes ago and you're already here. Like, you are actually in love with me. And then I'm like, is it someone? Is it like a creepy stalker or something? Because why else are you on all of my videos commenting random shite that isn't even offensive? Like, just go away.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, I've got a few threatening ones, but we'll talk about that another time.
Holy crap.
Pros and cons, that could be a full-on fucking podcast.
Yeah, we'll skip that.
Right, we'll do that in the next time we do that. Yeah. How did you get verified?
I'm not verified on TikTok.
I'm not verified on TikTok either.
Instagram. So it was around the time a lot of newspapers were posting articles about me that I didn't agree to, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
literally, I was being sent this stuff and, like, being sent photographs and all, and I was like, what the hell? It's, like, right whenever I was, like, first starting TikTok. They were putting it, which I've now found out you can get paid for.
Yeah, I got paid for some.
I didn't know this at the time, and now, because time's went on so much, I can't find the old articles.
Yeah.
But, like, they done one recently. The Sun done one recently about my nanny without my permission.
Really?
Yeah, and I messaged and I got money for her.
Okay, nice. That's another way you can make money from social media.
Yeah, but not a lot.
No.
But still, so they were like posting all these articles, and then I got a notification on Instagram saying that I'd been selected for verification, and I was like, what? And I actually got an email first, and I was like, that's a scam, because you know that there is scams.
Yeah.
So I just ignored it, and then it was a notification in the Instagram app, and I was like, what? So then I clicked on it, and it was basically like, we need you to upload, it was like your passport, like proof of ID. And I was like, right, we'll see what happens. Like, I still don't really believe it. And then I uploaded it, and then like 24 hours later I had a tick, and I was like, what?
Nice.
I was like, that's so funny. But I'm assuming it was just because there was like articles and stuff out at the time. Maybe people were searching my name or something. I don't really know. Yeah.
Mine was when I was in Sydney. I was with Sinead and living in the house, and then one of our friends got verified, and she was like, you can probably get verified too. And I was like, really? And I guess it's not something I care about. Like, I was like, whatever, I don't really care. So I literally just pressed the thing on Instagram, like, apply for verification, and I sent off like all the news articles about me around the world, and then the next thing was verified. But then I was raging because like 2 months later, or a couple of months later, they announced that thing.
Oh yeah, you can pay for it now. That's right.
I was like, fuck's sake, people are gonna think I'm paying for this, which I do not want. Like, I'm like, can I remove my blue tick, please? I do not want to be seen as paying for it.
I'm gonna start a rumor Kegs paid for his verified tick.
Well, you know how you check, you can go on their Instagram, you can click the blue tick, and it shows when they got it. So I think when you started paying was from like May 2023. So mine was like January. So I was like, right, at least you know what I'm But honestly, like, if I see, if there's been times where a guy's been texting me and I've seen that he's paid for his blue tick, and it kind of gives me the ick a wee bit.
Yeah,
like,
that would give me the ick too.
So,
it's like when people had like Tinder Gold and stuff.
Oh, I have Tinder Gold, but for free. So I've got Revolut Premium. So I have Revolut Premium for when it's called pays for my travel insurance, right? So I get Tinder Gold for free. So I'm obviously gonna fucking use Tinder Gold for free if I have it.
Tears. To be fair, my sister told me the other day that she paid for something extra in a dating site so that she could like fly to rich countries.
Nice.
I was like,
sick.
You get it, girl. Get it, girl.
But no, it actually, if I get it for free, obviously I'm gonna use it, so I can change my location and I can see who else like me. So instead of sitting and swiping to every Tom, Dick and Harry, I can quickly just swipe.
Okay, I'll let you away with it. She didn't pay for it.
No, I probably wouldn't pay for it, to be fair.
One more,
because
we're probably gagging on.
Do you feel anxious when you're out and about and people knowing who you are?
So a girl came up to me yesterday whenever I was walking to Primark. We actually walked together we were both going to Primark. She was so lovely, like so lovely. And she actually asked me that. She was like, do you get like anxious or annoyed when people come up to you? And I was like, no, not at all. Like, not at all. Like, it's comforting. It's always a nice person. It's a face to talk to. Like, I'm always 100% fine with it. Like, I like it. Do you know the one thing that I would rather someone come up to me than do this? I hate being somewhere and someone's standing staring and it's so obvious that they're like talking about you.
Yeah.
Because it's like they could just be like saying like, there's Shannon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No big deal. But when you're standing there, especially if I'm by myself, I get really anxious that they're like speaking badly. Like I get anxious they're going to come and beat me up.
Yeah, I get that as well.
I'd rather someone just come up, and I get that they could just be saying there's Shannon and like having a conversation about me, and they have every right to do that. But personally, then it makes me feel anxious because I just think they're going to come and beat me up. I'd nearly rather someone just come over and be like, hey, and I have a conversation or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
No, to be fair, whenever people come up to me, I love it. Like, I am a Leo. I love when people meet new people. I love when everyone comes up and says, oh my god, I love your videos. Like, it actually, I feel like that gives me motivation to keep doing what I'm doing. Like, I love that. And I love having like, sometimes you have deep conversations with people like open up to you and stuff because they hear you talking about things, and I'm like, oh my god, I love people telling me their stories. I love meeting new people and making new friends. Like, I love that. In terms of being anxious, sometimes, like I there has been times where I have been threatened in the past, and sometimes when I'm walking around certain areas I feel a bit on edge, and there has been times where people have been cheeky to my face on nights out. Like, I remember there was one night where there was a group of guys in the corner and I seen them all like looking at me, and like they were clearly chatting shit, and I was a bit like, oh, don't really want to go near that. And then I seen them all like daring each other, because this is when I didn't have a hair transplant and I was like covering it, and I seen them all daring each other to go over to me and like mess up my hair. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I had a few more drinks and I was like, do you want to mess up my hair, do you? But No, there has been times, don't get me wrong, I've been on nights out recently sober. Well, obviously not recently, but like when I had that wee sober patch for 2.5 months, I was on nights out sober. And I definitely had a lot more anxiety then when people were like coming up to me, because I wasn't sure if they were being sound or taking the piss. Sometimes you get people taking the piss. But other than that, no, I absolutely love when people come up to me. So if you see me about, come say hello. I love meeting you all. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's actually class.
Yeah, me too. I'm fine with it. I think the only time that I could say I feel maybe a bit anxious, sometimes I get a bit concerned that if the person I'm with, like this happened in Australia, like if I was out in Australia and it was me and my boyfriend out, and then maybe like a group of girls would come up, and then like I love that, so then I would get carried away talking to them, and like we're having this wee girl chat, and then I get a wee bit like anxious, like shit, am I like leaving my boyfriend out here?
Yeah.
And like see him, I've had that if I've been out with friends,
I've had that as well.
I'm like, oh my goodness, am I being a dick, like kind of ignoring my friends, like talk to these people that I'm having a really lovely conversation with, but also my friends, do you know what I mean? So that would probably be about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have similar to myself last year. I remember even at AVA last year, I brought one of my close friends, and the whole time I was just getting stopped by people, and she like was like just wanted to enjoy herself, and she was getting pissed off and kept running off, and I was like, oh god, sorry.
Yeah.
And then I also don't want to not stop either, do you know what I mean? Like, I love chatting to people. So we're going to move on to Tell Us Your Crack. We've been neglecting it the past few weeks, but we're going to include at least one in the episode, and then we will move it on to our Bonus Craic episode, which will be out on Thursday. So we've actually changed the days of the podcast release. So what I've realised from editing is that if it's out on a Sunday, I feel like I've been being late every week because I've been missing out my weekends because I've been sitting editing. It takes like quite a bit of time to do that.
Where then you can edit on a Sunday and then have it up on a Monday.
Yeah, so main episode up on Mondays from now on, and then bonus episode up on Thursdays, okay?
Perfect.
So, first one. I'm a girl and I've always wanted to have a threesome, and I've been asked by a guy who I casually dated before to have one with him and his friend. Do I do it? Abso-fucking-lutely. 100%.
See, I'm so, like, you do, if you want to do it, 100%.
Well, she said she's always wanted to have a threesome.
Yeah,
so
100%. Like, why not? Like, why not? But I'm so, like, I could never. I could never.
I love a wee threesome, like.
Like, honest to God, if my boyfriend even suggested it to me, I think I would vomit on his face. The idea of him even touching someone else, oh, like,
really?
Not a hope. I wouldn't say I'm a jealous person, but I would be jealous if the circumstance arose that I had a reason to be jealous, 100%. So then just a no for me. But if that's something you've wanted to do, then go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I'm in the gay world as well. In the gay world,
that's very normal. You said this to me before. So yeah.
I've actually so many story times that I keep wanting to tell, and wait till you hear the crack. But I know my mum watches this every week, and I'm like, I don't want to tell this story. Mum watches. I feel like I want to just tell her to stop watching the podcast. I can't lie. Like honestly, mum, if you're listening, I don't want you to listen anymore. Okay.
Let him go wild.
With the threesome, you've said you wanted to always do it. It's with a guy that you already know, so you're already comfortable with him. Definitely give it a go. Yeah. And also, always in the situations, you are in control.
You're in control.
You need to set boundaries. If you don't want to do something, you don't want someone to touch you there, you don't want to do something, just be vocal about it. Always be vocal. Always. Communication is key in these things for sure.
Boundaries are so important.
And communication for sure. But yeah, if you want to do it, I would definitely go for it. Why not? Why not? Enjoy life. Like, you need to experience as much as you can. I love that sort of stuff. But yeah.
Not me though.
Not Shannon.
And like even the other way, I don't know, even the other way, like it's just the idea for me. Maybe I'm just like a wee frigid, do you know what I mean? But I'm like, even if it wasn't like, you know, 2 girls and a guy, like if it was me and 2 guys, like my boyfriend and someone else, like still I'm like, oh, like no, freaks me out, too much going on, no thank you. But then I do know loads of people like love or really into it. It just depends what kind of person you are. Just to be frigid maybe.
Yeah. Fair. I'm just thinking about my mum and the things she says. I'm like, no, I can't say this in the podcast. Mommy, stop listening, okay? Oh, I have so many stories. You've probably seen a few of them, to be fair, with my close friends.
I've seen a few.
So many funny ones. It'd be good.
Remember I got you to send me that video?
What one?
You were talking about something kind of not threesome but kind of same idea, and you were like,
Dublin?
Yeah, you were like, I think the video's even a bit explicit, like posting my close friends, and I was like, send me it.
Was this the one in Dublin?
I think so. There's a guy in the computer in the corner.
Oh my god, yes. Should I tell that story? Should I just do it?
Yeah, sure.
No, I can't, can I? Right.
I don't know. We'll think about it and maybe do it in another episode. That can be a funny story. But it's just going to leave people wanting to see the video.
Okay, right. I'll do that on my next Wait Till You Tell the Crack.
Okay.
And we'll do this. That's going to be in 2 weeks, but I'm going to make sure my mother does not listen to that episode.
Okay, she's bored. She's bored.
It's such a funny story. I love it. Anyways, I have a friend who is emotionally cheating on her boyfriend. Should I tell him, or is that not my place? What does emotionally cheating mean? What does that
Is
mean?
it like thinking about other people or talking to other people
Maybe talking to other people
and not acting upon it? That's still cheating to me. So
yeah, for sure. That's definitely not.
but it's
okay.
her friend is doing it to her boyfriend.
I would say speak to the friend first. Don't go straight to the
Speak
boyfriend.
if it's, you know, your loyalties lie with your friend. So speak to your friend, explain that you don't agree with what's going on.
Yeah.
And then it's like, maybe if you're friendly with the boyfriend, I don't know, it depends on your
That's
loyalty.
such a tricky one.
But I know if one of my friends were doing that, because the thing is, your friend's only going to end up hurt as well by
Yeah.
doing things like that. So I would,
You'll lose your friend as well if you go straight to the boyfriend. I
yeah,
think. Like,
but I would always explain to my friend, like, you're going to hurt yourself by doing what you're doing, because you're either going to ruin your relationship, or the person that you're like speaking to, it's probably not going to work out. You know, like the person you're cheating with,
Yeah.
it's probably not going to work out. You need to fix what's going on in your head. So I would explain that to my
And
friend.
also say to the friend, like, is there something wrong with your own relationship?
Yeah.
Like, you're wanting to get a connection with another person. Like,
Yeah.
obviously tell your friend.
I just hate cheating. Oh, it
I
makes
hate
me
it as
so
well.
angry.
I fucking hate it. Like, why would you do that? But yeah, I would say speak to your friend. Don't go straight to your boyfriend. And if things get worse, just be like, here, bitch, sort your
Yeah.
shit out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for the dilemmas. We have loads more that we're going to answer on the bonus crack, which will be out on Thursday. So thank you
Yeah.
all so much for sending them in. If you want to send any dilemmas in the future, send it to crackheadspod@outlook.com, or the night before. We always have a wee story up anyway.
On our stories, yeah.
But yeah, that is or you tell us you're a crack. I forget all the names. It's a bit of a tongue twister.
And that's the end of the episode.
That's the end of the episode.
That's the
So
end.
I reckon we're going to do another episode. If you enjoy this, let us know if you enjoyed this episode in the comments or whatever, and we will do another episode on like behind the scenes of Influencer. We have so many more questions to answer, and we can give you any more juicy behind the scenes that you want to know. And yeah, thank you so much to Bella Mianta for sponsoring this gorgeous episode. We absolutely love you.
And remember, if you do want to buy any of Belmianta's products, you can use our code CRACK20, capital letters, and go to belmianta.com.
And if you are listening and you've been listening for a while and you haven't hit subscribe or follow whatever platform you're listening on, please do us this massive favor. It takes 2 seconds of your time and just hit subscribe. It honestly helps us so much. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube right now, and
TikTok as well is going pretty good.
TikTok's doing well.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We want to get 1K because that will help us so much. But yeah, we love you. Thank you, and we will see you on the bonus crack on Thursday. Love you. Bye.